Hello everybody, and welcome to our lovely new launch. Now this is one of our fabulous little web die sets that we've got for you, and it's Beneath the Blooms. Now, as I'm hoping that a lot of you will now be aware that when we release one of our little collections, we actually do it in several formats. So you're going to get it as a die collection as usual, but you're also getting them as SVGs and MCS as well. So this is the little SVG demo for you. So Beneath the Blooms, it really is a lovely little set. You're getting 3 individuals. You'll have this lovely bloom, hence the name. Fabulous set of steps. And then this here is a gate, okay? So it goes on the side with its little hinges. So what we're actually going to do is cut some of these out, but I'm going to use the matte layers within the SVG file to make a shaped card for us then to be able to put all of this on. But how fabulous are these? So, as always, when we're working with an SVG file, however the file is broken down into folders, you also get that information printed at the bottom of your actual printed sheet, which is fabulous. You're getting what it is. And then we give you the sizes. Now, the original is the original die size. So if it says original, that's what the die was. Then we'll give you additional formats. We'll either give you a large and an extra large or a large and a small, depending on how it works out for the actual die. On this one, I've got the large. But the super thing is when you get your SVG files, you're also going to get the decoupage layers. So we do all the snipping and everything for you, so you don't have to do that. But on top of that, you get the reverse reflection as well. So that's even another bonus, you could say. So on here, it even tells me that this is my decoupage and it's a reverse reflection. So whatever it's saying down here, once you go to your SVG file on your screen on your ScanNCut, it then gives you the relevant information that matches up. So it's super easy to navigate on what you're going to find, okay? Brilliant. So that's a little bit about that. Let me have a look what we've got. So we've got the standard as well. And then we have, that's the reverse reflection. So I'm just going to pop all these together. There we go. And we'll have a little play with all of that. And also I'll show you how to line everything up. But first of all, we're going to make a little card blank that this will all fit onto. So I'm going to go to my machine. Let's wake it up. Now, where we're going to retrieve that information from is our little USB. So let's click on our USB icon. Beneath the Blooms, and this is where I say it opens up into different folders. The detail cuts are lovely for a drawing file, or maybe you're wanting to do some foiling, etc. with it. They are beautiful cuts, so they add in or keep in all of the detail that you would find on a die. The matte cuts are the matte layers. So say we give you, if you've seen before the 2 red robins and there's a mouse, and you get that outline die. That's what that folder is. It's that outline side, that outline edge. And then the reflections are the printed elements. But to start off with today, I'm wanting the matte cuts. So I'm going to click matte cuts. And we're working with the large because that's the reflections that we've actually got printed. So let's go to the large. It'll take it a few seconds to open up. And on here, you can see that those are the matte cuts. So this is what we're actually going to be working with. So now I've opened it up. That's the large set. I'm going to press OK. Press OK. And there we have it. Now, if I go into edit and I use my little arrows, you can see all the individual pieces there. So the bottom one is the steps. The top is the lovely bloom, the arch. And then that middle one is one of the gates. It's a small gate. I'm actually going to take the gate away because I don't want to work with the gate and delete that. Okay, so I don't actually want that one. What I'm working with is the arch and the steps. What I'm going to do is overlap these two, weld them together because I want to keep this in the middle. I want to keep this little aperture. Now that is one of the really nice things about working with the ScanNCut, that by doing that you can actually work and make aperture cards out of your shapes. of the actual matte layers for the dies. So let's bring it all down here so we've got a little bit more space to work with. I'm going to bring down the arch so it's overlapping like so. Glasses on. About there, I think. Right, I'm going to ask it to weld those two pieces together, okay? Now, sometimes it'll say, actually, there's not enough there weld because you've not overlapped it enough, but the machine will tell us regardless. So, Object Edit, select all, so we want everything on the mat, Object Edit, and this one, this is grouping, so they all stay individual, but you can move them together. This little icon here that's a circle and a triangle, these have been welded together, okay? So, press weld. There we have it, okay? And then it also says, OK to weld pattern outline, it's irreversible. Obviously, we've still got the individual pieces that are the actual SVG files. So at this point, yes, I'm happy with that. Press yes. So there we have our front of our card blank, okay? Now I need another one so I can actually cut this out and I've got one whole card blank. So what I'm going to need to do is go, OK, Object Edit, and I want more than one. So 2 of. Now I've got 2 of these images. One of them, I need to rotate it round so it's the right way up. So let's go into Rotate. And then if I line that up, they're opposite, can you see? So press OK again, and this is where we flip. So now, if I fold that in half, I know that those 2 pieces will match up, it's going to line up. But what I actually need to do first of all is align them so I know they're aligned properly. Go into Select All and go into my alignment function, which is here. And then I want to make sure they're centered. So if we keep an eye on here, they may move. There we go. So now I've got them centered and press OK. So I'm happy with that. And let me just get my cardstock. So now that is a full 12 by 12. So to do this, I need a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. But if you've only got an A4, you just overlap them a little bit more. So you can actually tweak this because when we actually put all of this together, the bloom is going to be over the top. So, yeah, exactly. So you can also scan that in. So I've got Andrew talking to me, says you can scan it in, which is exactly what we're going to do. So we're going to scan in our blank piece of paper so I can see how big and what I've got to work with. So I'm just going to grab my mat, just a second. I was going to leave it on the floor at the side of me, but I knew I'd stand on it. So let's pop that on there. Okay, so it's not much off of being a full 12 by 12, okay? So I'm going to burnish that down on there and I'm going to scan that in. So pop that on there, load the mat. And while ever we're working with all of this, those patterns are just going to sit on the screen. They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to move. So we can go all the way through to scan in this piece of white cardstock and then we can make it bespoke. So maybe you've got an offcut of A4, so you've got it the lengthways, but it's narrower. At least then you've got the opportunity of manipulating your shape, which is fabulous because the ScanNCut is the only one that's got the scanner that allows you to be able to do this. So there we have my scanned image. I'm going to go into this one. I'm going to make it darker because then we can see, I can see that my A4 sheet is there. I'm not quite sure if everybody else can. You can see it, yeah? We can just about see it. So what I'm now going to do is go into Edit, and I need to manipulate one of these at a time just by a couple of clicks, okay? So into Object Edit, there we go. So now I can actually manipulate this. So I'm going to drop it down. That arrow is greyed out because I can't go any further up. Okay, so whenever you get to a point where your image on your mat can't move, the arrow to the whichever direction it is will be greyed out, so you can't use it. So that's why that is like that. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I've moved it down a little bit. Click on this one. You see it's now not greyed out, so I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm quite happy with that, I think. I might go one more on that one. One more on that one, and I'm now okay to weld those. So we're going to go back, select everything on the mat, object edit, and weld. Now we've got our card shape and it fits on our A4 card. So I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I want you to cut. That won't take more than a couple of seconds because it's just a really simple shape. Now, when you go on here and look at this, it says, or it suggests 2 minutes. It won't be 2 minutes. It's going to be 1 minute and maybe even 1 second. Once it goes over that first 60 seconds, it adds on and rounds it up to the next minute, okay? It does it with everything, but it's not going to be 2 minutes to cut this simple shape out. So that's away and cutting. Now what we're going to do is choose what we're actually going to cut out on this. But when I actually come to doing this, this is where I'm going to show you how to align it up. Now, looking actually on the reflection, we've spoken about what's printed on the bottom. We have the reflection here, so they're the images that it's cutting out. But the most important thing about that's printed on here is this black rectangle. This is the super little magic thing that allows us to be able to keep all this together, keep it all in the same place and align it. And again, like I said, it's the only machine that we can actually do this with because it's got a scanner built in, okay, which is the one of ScanNCut. It's what it is. So that's what we're going to do with the next part. This is nearly finished. It's all the way round to the bottom. There we go. Release the mat, take that away, throw my rubbish away, and that is my fabulous card blank with my apertures already in place. So I'll pop that to one side, we'll deal with that in a second. So it's this that we're actually dealing with, and I don't want the reversed one just yet, I want the original, which is this one. That's the decoupage, I want the original full. So we're going to have 2 bites at the cherry with this, showing you how to align it, okay? So that is on there. Just burnish that down, like so. Now we need to go back to the machine. We've done all of that, but if I want to, I can actually save that file and just save it to the machine, because every time you've done something, you only do it once. So if you're making a card blank, you only make the card blank once and then you save it. So all the work is done. But on this instance, we've done that. We've cut the card blank out, press OK. So again, we're going back to retrieve data. We're going back to the USB symbol, back into beneath the blooms. And this time we do want our reflection. So click on reflection. And remember, it tells me on here, it is the large. So I'm working with the large one. And this isn't the decoupage one. So that tells me it's the decoupage sheet, DEC. I want the original, this cut. So that is all the detail that we need. Press OK. It's now set on my workable mat. As soon as I go into edit and start moving my arrows, you can see that that little red box or large red box jumps about to all those individual SVG files. So these are all separate at the moment. I can pick them up and move them around wherever I want. We don't want that when we're scanning into cut. We need to group it all together so we can move it as one item. So we're going to select everything on the mat. Press OK, press that one, so that's everything. Now we can see all those boxes appear all together. Press OK, go into Object Edit, and that's the group function. So press Group. Now, when I move this, it all moves as one individual piece, which is exactly what we're wanting. Now let's pop in our mat, pop it up to the machine, load mat. In it goes. And there are registration marks on your mat if you weren't aware. These little black squares, and it actually reads, it knows which mat it's actually got in there, which is fabulous. So now we're going to go back to scanning. Okay. So, oops. There's your scan function. Press OK. Start. So now it's going to take that into the machine. Have a look what's on the mat, and then it'll display it up here on the top. Doesn't take it very long. There we go. Any second now it'll appear on the screen. That's it. See? Now, in the background here, you can see that it's a little bit dark. So what I'm going to do, you can alter the background settings so it's easier for you to see. Go into settings. You've got the dark one on the left, medium in the middle, and then you can turn the background off altogether if you wish. So I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. It's a little bit easier for us to see. Then go into edit, and I want to go to my magnifying glass. Click that magnifying glass once and it's 200%. Down here on the left, click it again. We're now at 400% magnification, so we can really see that we're getting that aligned correctly. You can click on your stylus and drag it down and kind of get it where you want it. Not quite where I want it. Your arrows here at this top right hand corner move your SVG file, your image around, okay? So I'm going to do a couple of clicks. I'm quite happy. That top line is aligned. Now I'm going to bring it this way a little bit. Now that piece is aligned. Your arrows here actually maneuver your image so you can see more of it. So you can do a quick check. I like where all my SVG files are lined up on that. I'm going to press OK. OK again. I'm going to go all the way through and cut. And while that's cutting, it suggests 3 minutes, but it really isn't. I can then go back to my card blank, like so. And I know I can fold this in half. And that is now created my aperture, okay, which is brilliant. I just love the fact that without any hassle, we've gone into the SVG files, we've manipulated them a little bit, and we've now got a specific made shaped card for this particular collection. Now, if you were wanting to try and do this, you could do it with squares or rectangles and put an aperture in there, but it's not going to be specific and it wouldn't work and fit directly. So now we've got a lovely aperture card, but it's not just got one aperture. We've got a full see-through aperture at the back. So at this point, if you've got any lovely scenes that you want to use, you could actually print one off in vellum, cut the outside, the larger, this matte layer here, without the aperture. So you can remove that because obviously you don't need it. So you can cut that and then have it in the background. So you've got a lovely translucent aperture in the background as well. So there's lots of ways of using this. But whenever you've got an aperture, one of my fun ways of using an aperture is turning it into a shaker card. So any little bits and pieces, maybe because this is beneath the blooms, you might have got some little tiny flowers or some what they call sequins that's a flower shape. Could pop them in, or maybe you've got some little green beads, like little oval beads. You could put that in. It could be grass. So there's lots of alternatives and ways of actually going about using this. When this is done, I'm just going to cut the decoupage piece because I want to, again, quickly, we are only going to do this one quite quick. What happens is when you start using the ScanNCut, you'll get to know where all the pieces are, okay? And I mean pieces as in the buttons. So you will actually start, when you say yes and when you're clicking OK, you will automatically put your stylus where that OK is going to appear. So the speed and how you use it will actually, once you've got used to it, it's like anything else, isn't it? So that's my archway, which is lovely. There's my stone steps. And this is my gate. And I've just taken that off nice and gentle because Look at that. Isn't that just lovely? So there's my gate. Get rid of all of these pieces. And then we'll quickly just go through cutting the decoupage. And while the decoupage is cutting, we can put the matte layers on. So I don't want the reverse reflection. I want the original, which is this one. Again, so no confusion. It's telling me one says reverse, one is the original. It's the original I'm working with. Pop that on there, burnish it down. So very quick run through, okay? See if you can keep up with me. Press home, okay. Into the retrieve data, into your USB. So this is how quick you will get. Beneath the blooms, I want my reflections. I want the large. I want the decoupage. I'm going to say yes, edit, group everything. Okay, so select everything on the map, press OK, object edit, group, OK. You get very quick because it's the repetitive nature of actually using the machine. Okay, it's like when you start using your washing machine, it's all those new buttons. So you'll start using your dial and you'll know that it clicks 3 times and that's the right, so you're automatic. So it all becomes very automatic. So object edit, sorry, no. Scan, start, off it goes. And while that's doing that, we'll start on this. So bring my little gate in. There we go. That's, woo. So now, pop on. We need to align it. So there we go. So it scanned it in, brought it back. Fabulous. You see, while it's doing that, you're doing something else. And that is the beauty of using the machine, because this is doing all the, not tedious, but it's doing the main body of work for you. And you just set it going and off it goes. Then you've got the opportunity. So you're using your time is really valuable. By doing it this way, you can really get lots done. Okay, so I'm going to go back into edit, my little magnifying glass. I'm just going to hover over, drag that down, kind of put it where I want it to be. 200% now becomes 400%. Using my little keys, across, I'm happy with that. Go all the way through till I select cut. Yes, now that's cut in, I can carry on with my foam tape. Okay, like so. And it's literally minutes taken out of everything. Now, there's nothing at all stopping you that if you wanted to, you could add in extra layers of this, cut more into the decoupage. We give you a serving suggestion of the decoupage, but maybe you want to just cut the step and have one individual step decoupaged. Maybe you want to cut around here and have all of the steps, but get rid of those pieces. It's entirely up to you. It doesn't take anything away from the snippability of you adding extra layers in. So my lovely stone steps are going there, like so. So that's my first piece to put down. And some of this, as you can see, I'm not taking all of the backing off. I don't need to. I've put that tape on to stop it from getting squashed. So that's going to align like so. I'm looking at that space around there. And that's perfect. Now, I've chosen to put this on white cardstock. I could have cut it out in black or maybe in a lovely green cardstock, so then it blends in quite nicely in the background. So that is that one. Now we can go on to popping the arch on. And by the look of this, we'll have finished building this before the decoupage is even finished cutting. So now, drop this down like so. I've got my lovely gate, but I'm going to wait because my extra decoupage layer, which is on here, gives me all these, look at all, this is what I was saying, look at all these pieces. So that now sits on there, which is fabulous. That is my extra step, so it really brings it to life. This is my extra, but I'm actually going to make it taller, like so. And then I have my gate. Now the gate, I'm actually going to just glue one on top of the other with wet glue. That's my first port of call because I need it to dry. I want it to set. Okay. So, a little bit of glue. Whoops. And I'm just going to stick one directly, oops, on top of the other. Like that. And while that's drying, I can now do the rest of my decoupage. So same thing again. Okay. And usually when I do a shaped card, I would have another piece that I would finish off and go across the top. But I knew I was extending this. I knew I wanted this over the arch bigger. So there wasn't any point of me wasting that cardstock because the actual decoupage piece was going to be taller than what I could have made it. And then so this is our first layer of stone steps. And when you do your decoupage, it's just like a jigsaw puzzle. One sits on top. Second set of steps, or third in this case, isn't it? Line it up like so. This is to extend that lovely arch. So you could also then go ahead on the actual die set. I've cut the arch out and I've put it at the side, so I've made it wider as well, as if it has got a hedge growing each side. So there's lots of different ways of working with this. Okay, so that's on there. And now we've got the lovely gate. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on those hinges. Using my tweezers, keeping my fingers out of the way. Just going to slide that in there. Press that down. I'm just going to hold that in place a second so the glue grabs. There we go. When that glue is actually set properly, you can manipulate the gate and put a little bit of shape in there so it's a little bit more 3D. But that is our lovely card. So we've got a lovely shaped aperture, and it's a double aperture. And remember, we've actually done it, so we've got a double aperture and created the card blank on the ScanNCut. We've extended on the lovely archway, so we've made that bigger. And look, when you add on the decoupage, the actual shadow that that decoupage uses, isn't it lovely? So you could even then go in with other die collections or other SVG collections that you've got. Maybe you've got a little bit of ivy that you wanted to hang in there. You could tuck that inside and add even more definition to this. But that is a super card. Again, a way of using the SVG files that you can't actually do with the dies. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope to see all your inspiration. Pop across onto highlightcrafts.com. There are other colourways, I believe, as well that you can download to use for this. So not only have you got those lovely red roses, I think you've got a lilac and a white as well, maybe, and a pink. So there are different colourways. So pop onto highlightcrafts.com. You're going to get your extra downloads on there that I think are they 60p or a pound a download? And then once you've got them, save them onto your laptop or your PC and you've got them forever. So again, thank you very much for joining me. See all your inspiration on our Facebook pages. Of course, you can see this and keep this on our YouTube. So if you follow us on YouTube, click like and share as always, and let everybody else see that inspiration too. So we'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.
If you want to see more from Highlight Crafts, make sure you click the like button. Subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, and click the bell icon to receive notifications of all of our future content. You can also click here to see our latest video, or click here to see more videos like this one.